Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, California Weather Watch. Today is March 26th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. There's British Columbia, Oregon, California here. Look at this upper level trough driving down across the Gulf of Alaska off the west coast. This is going to merge with some of the subtropical moisture and create quite a dynamic storm off the coastline here. The models are trending a little bit offshore here with this storm, so hopefully that will lessen some of the impacts across the state of California. There's still some high wind watches in effect right now, and still going to be some gusty conditions here, some precipitation, heavy mountain snows, and some big waves with this storm, though, as it is quite powerful off the coastline here. We have to watch this closely as it does approach. As you guys know, this can create some surprises, even last minute, in the position of this low pressure system means everything on just how much wind and how much precipitation and how much snow is going to occur across the state. This is looking at the European model here, precipitable water, and you'll see this trough digging down across the Gulf of Alaska here, and that subtropical moisture getting caught up in it, and it really shows it well how it just wraps around this mid-latitude cyclone off the Oregon coast here and drives a strong frontal system into the state of California, eventually sliding down through central California there. Big mountain snows incoming here, and again, the slow pressure system here, the location of it is going to mean a lot when it comes to just how much wind we're going to get along the California area here as it slides down through the state here. This upper level is going to keep some precipitation going. It's going to get unstable aloft as well. There's thunderstorm potential with this system as it drops down the coastline. Take a look at that here in a moment as well. This is Sacramento National Weather Service, 1 to 4 feet, generally above 4,000 feet coming up here. And once you get out of Redding across some of I-5 here through Northern California and all the way towards Southern Oregon, there's going to be some big snowfall. As you can see, over 2 feet expected there for Interstate 5. Pretty crazy snowfall forecast coming up there Monday through Wednesday. And you can see, again, another big dose here for the Sierra Nevada and a lot of the higher terrain, mainly Northern California, showing up here. So, yeah, be ready for that. Major impacts, dangerous travel. Snow levels could be dropping to 2,500 feet after that frontal system starts to move down across the area here Monday through Wednesday, heaviest being on Tuesday, the timing shown there. Great graphic here from the National Weather Service Sacramento. This is probability of snowfall, 6 inches. Northern California, mainly the western portions here. And you can see this is 6+ inches probability here. So you can see some pretty good amounts coming for some of the higher terrain coming up here. This is from the National Weather Service, Eureka, California. This is current hazards. We have winter storm watches up for the Sierra, the northern portions, the higher terrain, the Siskiyous out there. We've got high wind watches in effect, and that blue right there is a freeze watch, actually, with this cold air across the area. There's winter weather advisories across extreme western Nevada there as well. This is looking at the sea level pressure map yesterday, last night's run, I should say, on the European. You can see the development of this storm out here, dropping down towards a 979 millibar low off the Oregon coast here, casting that frontal system across California. And now this low pressure center has a very tight gradient with it, but if it stays far enough off the coastline, it's going to spare the Bay Area and a lot of California from those very strong winds. And we've had a couple of really wicked systems moving through here with the big winds. You guys don't need me to tell you, if you've been living across central California, the Bay Area out there, all the tree damage that was going on, the last 2 mid-latitude cyclones that went through the area there. But you can see this kind of weaken and stay just enough off the coastline there so it doesn't spawn these huge winds again. But you got to watch it carefully here because it's still a strong low pressure system. And if it ends up tracking in a little bit further here, you could set up that powerful gradient along the coastline, and which would affect some of the higher terrain especially as well. This is looking at max 10-meter wind gusts, so basically at the surface, and you see the development of the cyclone off the Oregon coastline there, potentially getting some areas of Northern California here, but then it slides down, mainly staying offshore here, but we got to watch the track, as I've said a couple times already here. Now, looking at the 100-meter wind speed, we're going to put this into motion. You'll see the development of the storm way up here. There it goes. Strong frontal system is going to bring gusty winds with it as it moves down across the Bay Area and even down towards Southern California. We'll get some gusty winds from this, and this is going to bring some unstable air, but you see it packs its strongest winds off the coastline here as it continues to move down the coast. So hopefully that remains the case here as we go through the next couple of days, and we can spare the state from those huge damaging winds that we've been getting here this season. Now looking at 500 millibar height and relative humidity, this kind of just shows you what the cloud shield might look like as the storm system develops here. I mean, it might have another eye-like feature to it off the coastline here, so it's probably going to make some pretty dramatic satellite imagery here going through Tuesday morning, spreading clouds back up across Pacific Northwest, strong frontal system driving through the state here, and again, that powerful low pressure system not too far away, so you got to watch it closely. Here we go. This is for Wednesday afternoon. This was about the best lightning flash density potential. We do have some thunderstorm potential coming up here as we go through midweek. We'll watch this as we go. The high resolution models are not quite in range yet, so we'll look at those when they come up here, folks, and we'll see if there's any, brief water spout, brief weak tornado potential as we get a little bit closer here. But right now, it looks like Wednesday is really the peak day so far. And then this activity may move down further south across Southern California as we go on in through Tuesday. We'll check that out as those high-resolution models get in range. This is the NAM 12KM here. This is surface-based CAPE. This is convective available potential energy here. Kind of shows you the instability in the atmosphere, and you can see that low-pressure system there. And back that up. Look at it. You can see like an eye feature as that thing moves down the Oregon coast towards Northern California. That's going to look pretty crazy on the satellite imagery here. But now as we go into late Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, you can see this instability coming up across the state here as that low-pressure spins here. This is as far out as the NAM 12KM goes, 84 hours. So this will continue its trek southward and continue to bring some unstable air across the state as we go through Thursday. More on that here in the upcoming days. This is looking at total precipitation in inches. This goes out 384 hours, 16 days here. And you can see with these systems moving through here, some pretty good rains even down through Southern California here as well. And there's going to be another couple systems that are going to try to make their way down into California. More on that here in a moment. This is looking at total precipitation as of last night's European run. This goes out 144 hours, but you can see some big amounts coming for the Sierra Nevada, of course, for Northern California, some of the coastal range. Not bad across Southern California as well. Showing some decent amounts, over half an inch, up towards an inch for some areas by the time you get on into Friday morning here. Then another system's going to kind of move down across the region here as we go out towards the end of next week as well, which right now looks like it may impact portions of central and northern California here, which would bring some additional snowfall with it as well. We'll worry about that later. We have several days to look at that system coming in here. This is 7-day precipitation ending Sunday, April 2nd here, and you can see the big amounts here. The red is generally above 2 inches here. The yellows are starting to show 4+ water equivalent inches there, and you can see that extending all the way down through Southern California in the next 7 days or so. This is day 1 through 3 overall winter storm impacts. You guys know the drill across the Sierra Nevada. No excuse to get caught off guard after the season we just went through across some of these higher passes. There's going to be some wintry driving conditions. This includes once you get north of Redding across some of the Siskiyous into southern Oregon, Northern California, big snowfalls incoming here. So yeah, heads up for that, guys. This is looking at excessive rainfall outlook. This is for day 3. This would be Tuesday morning through Wednesday morning, and it does exist here for some of the California central coastline for marginal and slight risk there, and this is reaching flash flood conditions within a 25-mile point here. So you're down around 10-15%. So it's not as severe as the other atmospheric rivers we have been having so far this winter/spring. This is total snow, 10-to-1 ratio. This is yesterday afternoon's European run. It's going to let this scroll through here, and then you can clearly see our system come in and drop another big dump of snowfall across the Sierra Nevada, across some of the Siskiyous, Northern California, and then another system's going to try to swing by as we go through this upcoming weekend as well. Again, mainly central Northern California with that one, but it could still pile up some more snowfall across some of the higher terrain there. And you see a little bit of adding on there as a cold upper level trough kind of showing up in some of the extended runs. But we have plenty of time to look at that. That's like in the 8-9 day period. So we'll be able to pin down those details as that system gets closer out into the future there. This is looking off in the extended a little bit more. Actually, not too much more, but it is going to show us what the upper level atmosphere looks like as we go on in through this week a little bit here. So there comes our storm system off the coastline there, slides down the state as we go through Thursday. You can see it kind of centered over Southern California there. That could bring some thunderstorm potential with it across central and Southern California as we go through the day. Thursday finally starts to move out of here. Then that next system wants to clip central and Northern California as we go through later next week. We'll watch that one. That's the one I talked about a little bit, and we have plenty of time to look at it. Now, the reminder here is that this was what it looked like on December 20th. Look at this exceptional drought across central California here, and a lot of extreme drought also. Plenty of severe drought as well. Virtually, 90% of the state there, and almost 95% of the state was in some kind of moderate drought. But now, as we go on into current, look at, we've just erased exceptional drought, which is very difficult to do, but you saw what it took to do it. But anyway, there's still a little bit of severe drought out there, but that's just kind of the name of the game here across a lot of the state of California. But yeah, that is very beneficial here for the state. And you guys know, if you've been watching the channel, I've been talking about the snow water equivalent that's now stored across the Sierra Nevada. Hopefully we don't melt it too fast, because it is very beneficial to have that water up there. You know, water is life. You can't live without it, right? So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the channel here. Click like, subscribe, helps the algorithm if you do so. And yeah, we'll check out this low pressure center tomorrow. It's going to be quite dynamic looking on the satellite imagery. By this time tomorrow, you're going to see it developing out here. So yeah, you'll probably see that all over social media. Hopefully it can hang off the coastline a little bit here, so it doesn't really bring those damaging winds towards the Bay Area again. And again, we'll have a little bit more detail on that tomorrow. But right now, the trend is good. It's kind of holding off the coastline there. So anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.